we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado. This is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
This is episode 197 of Discussion Combustion, and it's actually a celebration episode. We've hit 4 years of recording.
4 years and almost 200 episodes we've been doing this. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of great memories, moments, and experiences, guests that have joined us across the table. And here we are, 4 years. It's hard to believe, man. It's flown by.
It is. It's quite... I'm used to it. It's routine at this point, but yeah, it's been a journey. And showing up every single week. And of course, all the people that we've had the chance to talk to, it's an honor. And so, we're just going to kind of take this episode to reflect a little bit. We'll probably get off topic. We don't have a topic normally, as always. So we're brought to you by Loco Plus.
That's right, guys. Loco Plus, your local content creator. Great stuff. You're going to want to get involved at locoplus.com. You can sign up. It's free to create an account. You can share your work with the world. You can get paid. You can get new viewers. It's just a tremendous site, and we're happy to announce our showcase event coming up here on March 11th. That's right, guys. March 11th. Tickets go on sale today for this event at X Denver. We have a great showcase lined up with musicians, with comedians, with performers, and film. It's fantastic.
So excited to do that. And to share the stage with all these epic people. X Denver is an awesome venue, beautiful views, and the energy is going to be right on March 11th. It's going to be, I'm super excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to happen to coincide with our episode 200. So 200 will be live from the X Denver. You're not going to want to miss out, guys. There's only a limited amount of tickets, so you're going to want to get them quick. We'll include the link to that in the show notes down below. But if you're in the Denver, Colorado area, come on out. It's going to be one of the first live podcasts that has been done in Denver. Really looking forward to it. Thanks to Loco Plus.
Yeah, Loco Plus. And they're heavy out in Atlanta to all the people out there that helped build Loco Plus to where they're at right now, and the two co-creators. But we just respect what you do. And, I respect what you do, Kev. I'm always sitting here with you. We give each other a hard time all the time.
All the time.
But, I'm going to give you a cheers, man, because you're a hard-working friend. And you're a good one to share the space with.
Thanks, Bud Light. Today's episode is also brought to you by Bud Light. That's what we call Bud Light and Unite. Been a long time running with Anheuser-Busch. All 4 years have been with us. We appreciate your beverage. Now,
Bud Light, that's why I'm wearing the blue.
There you go. That's why you're wearing the blue.
Bingo.
I'm going to kick the old cowboy boot up for this one and get a little cozy.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. I got some new boots, guys. For the viewers that have been watching me throw the boot up over the years, I had to get some new ones, and my calves are bloody, and they're mangled. It looks like I have road rash, and it hurts.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Well, because you made a mistake.
I didn't make a mistake.
Yeah, you made a mistake. You didn't wear long socks. That was a mistake.
You got to earn your cowboy stripes, and you got to get them bloody calves.
I'd like to bring this one out to the pasture and see what people are actually saying out there.
Oh, those guys out there wrangling steers and birds and heifers are going to tell you this. You got to earn your cowboy stripes.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not a cowboy, just for the record. I love the boots. I love the Western wear.
Yeah.
I got a little country in me, but I by no means am birthing any heifers.
I have not done that. My family had donkeys. I used to mow 5 acres on a ride mower. I had to shovel some shit. I dealt with some hay.
You had to muck the stalls?
Yeah, I've had to do some things, and look, the land teaches values that the city can't, and the city teaches values that the land can't. And I'm fortunate to kind of be a hybrid. I've kind of had a little bit of both in my life.
Well, that's terrific. You get to live both lanes a little bit of countryside, a little bit of city side. Like you said, learn the best of both worlds. I lived in a small town in the woods on a lake for many, many years. I didn't really experience culture until I came out here. Boston, Massachusetts was a hop, skip, and a jump from where I grew up, but we just didn't go there very often.
Yeah.
I was stuck to the country life out there in the sticks.
Hey, man, there's nothing wrong with that out there.
I wouldn't change it for the world, man. I grew up in one of the most beautiful lakes in the world, Lake Winnipesaukee. For anyone that's familiar with the New England area, it's one of the cleanest. It has some of the longest shoreline miles of any lake in the country as far as they measure the shoreline distance.
Fact.
And it's just a really pretty lake, for anyone that hasn't visited Central New Hampshire. Lake Winnipesaukee is a staple.
I love some staples, man. Staples really hold things together.
Yes, that's a great segue there, Art.
Yeah.
As our co-host from Happy Friday would say, don't try to segue.
I wasn't trying to. I love a good segue.
I mean, I thought you did pretty good on Happy Friday last week with some of the segues. Maybe you guys saw some of the promo clips. John and Art like to give each other a hard time. And for those that haven't listened to Happy Friday yet, we certainly encourage you. It's right here on the Discussion Combustion YouTube channel. Go on and give it some love. Mile High Life as well.
MileHighLife.com.
Yep.
And, I mean, that's also one big thing. Like, I had to let that one go.
Boy, that's happy 4 years, guys.
Happy 4 years. Look, it's been quite the week. Okay.
I don't know if you've ever blasted one like that in the 4 years of this show. I mean, we certainly drink a lot of Bud Light and Unite on the program, of course.
Yeah.
But
usually I have a little bit more couth and
in some
my presence.
In some cultures, though, they actually, if you don't burp, they take it as an insult after you eat.
It's Italian culture.
Is it the Italians?
Yeah.
Lori will correct me on that one. Sorry, Lori.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm not. It's Italian, okay? Tomato, bicycle. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Excuse my belch. It felt really good. So pardon me there, listeners. So what I was getting into there is I was going to talk a little bit about, since we started this project over 4 years ago, it's crazy how quick, first of all, that time went by. You think about high school, like that was all of high school, right? And so it's cruising.
Yeah.
But speaking about Mile High Life and Happy Friday Denver and these other projects, it's just really cool that this led to that. And also Mash the Gas, which I know we've mentioned on other things, but congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Getting into the top 10 NASCAR podcasts. Like it's the third year?
Our third year doing Mash the Gas, and we made top 10 best NASCAR podcasts to listen to for 2023 out of 1,600 shows.
That's so awesome.
So we're pretty excited about that. For all of you NASCAR people out there, if you're tuning in, Mash the Gas every Monday night.
Absolutely. And it's just interesting because you have to work really hard and you have to keep showing up, right? And it's something that we've only missed. We only stopped when the pandemic first started because there was a lot of uncertainty out there.
I think we took April or
7 weeks.
It was like the last week of March through all of April, and then we came back in May.
And it felt so good to get back in.
It did.
So you really need to focus on going and seeing things through for the long run.
Yep.
So I guess I kind of wanted to we came up with all these other opportunities happened because we kept showing up every single week. We always showed up. Didn't matter what the weather was like, if we felt shitty, if we're on vacation.
We never canceled an ep. I mean, we've had to maybe shoot it on a Tuesday or a Monday or a Thursday or whatever to accommodate some scheduling conflicts, but we're still here every week, and it's tough, because, I'm doing 3 shows a week now, and so it leaves, there's not a lot of leeway for, if we do have to do a Tuesday recording or something like that. But
there's less flexibility now.
There is, but to your point, we always find a way to get it done. If that means coming in on a weekend, whatever it takes, you got to go all the way. And it was crazy as I was sitting here thinking about the past 4 years, 3/4 of the time that we've done this project has been during COVID.
That's true.
Because 20, 21, 22, 23, right? Here we are in 23. We've been dealing with this bullshit.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of blown over a little bit.
Has it, though?
I mean, there's still, I don't know how much we want to get into all of that, but obviously it's always going to be part of the narrative. Things changed after that happened. Permanently.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
I don't really think things will ever be back to what they were pre-COVID days, but it's just crazy that we're still talking about it 3 years into it.
I mean, it's still relevant. It's still out there. It's not like it disappeared.
Just like cold and flu season. Well, the flu did disappear for a little bit, and then it came back.
Yeah, I mean, I know how you're saying that right now.
I'm just saying, you look at the numbers. The flu went away in 21. No one had it, and then it's back.
Yeah, that's silly. It's silly.
I mean, I'm not the one coming up with the numbers. We've been through a weird couple of years, and I still sit here proudly unvaccinated. I love it,
and I respect that. I do. Everyone should have the right to choose that, and I have no qualms with that. We've actually had a lot of conversations because I think it's a bit ridiculous. I am vaccinated, and I don't know if that was the right decision or not. I'm still healthy. I'm fine.
Well, at least you didn't get the boosters because that's what seems to be killing people.
No boosters. I just got COVID, and I got sick, and I just...
Well, that is your booster.
Yeah, you don't hide your immune system. It has to be involved. Just like when you're dating. like you can't just not be dating at all. Like you have to like stay in it. You got to stay in the flow. You have to you got to stay in it. That's the same with your health.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, repetition is a mother skill. And like George Carlin said back in the '90s in one of his comedy bits, when he was like kind of shitting on the audience for being like germaphobes, and that's like when hand sanitizer became real popular. He's like, your immune system, it needs germs to practice on. If you don't give it any practice, how's it going to know what to fight? Mm-hmm. That joke kind of always stuck to me. I know some people can take or leave George Carlin, but to your point, yeah, I mean, I've been out in the marketplace throughout the entire time. I was in the grocery business when it started. I'm in the liquor biz now. And being out there in the elements, exposed to it day in and day out, that's what your bodies need. Touching handrails, touching doors, being around other folks, all that kind of stuff. It's what, elevates your immune system. And of course, everybody is different. Some people are immune compromised. I get that. And they need to make those decisions best based for their own personal health choices. Right, we're not experts here by any stretch of imagination.
No,
we're entitled to an opinion on it, and we played by the rules throughout the years. And
I would say I am an expert in
bullshitting.
Yes, and I'm about to do just that. No, seriously though, like anyone who's out there getting upset, like that people are vaccinated or if people are unvaccinated. If you're somebody out there that's taking a stance on that to where it's upsetting you that somebody has a different belief than your own, I think that is a waste of energy. And it's time to really have like a talk with yourself about it because, like I said, I have been vaccinated and I was behind it. And like, I'm not so much anymore, but that's my own decision. And the reasons why I got it were, the reasons why I got it back then. But I've never once been like, saying that you are like a piece of shit because you don't believe in getting the vaccination. But some people take that stance.
Yeah, some people do.
And that's the wrong stance to take. You know?
I mean, it kind of ties back into like politics a little bit too. Like whoever you vote for, some people will judge you upon that. And this is kind of matching and mirroring that same kind of behavior, whereas people get pissed off because you voted for someone or you got the jab or you didn't get the jab and you didn't vote for someone. It's all been really just a bunch of nonsense in my opinion, and just a way to get people pissed off and frustrated, getting mad at each other over it. I made a comment a few months ago on the show when the CDC started to recognize unvaccinated as the same as vaccinated as far as where they rank in the public health risk.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I don't know, man. It's funny to see.
Well, and like, look, if we wanted to get demonetized, and I'm about to make it happen.
Oh, we probably already are.
Yeah, so the thing with all of this is what's it all about, Kev? Well, what's it all about?
Money.
It's always about fucking money, dude.
Yeah, it's 100% about money.
And look, pharmaceutical companies are massive. I mean, why do you think doctors are always pushing medications on people instead of like eating healthier? And I'm sure there's a lot of doctors that try to do their best, but they still got to hit quotas. Like they still got to do what they have to do to get paid and shit. So, of course, they're going to recommend medication, and, of course, they want a lifelong patient, so then you're buying that product for the rest of your life. It's almost a guarantee. Right. And it's almost like you take some of this shit, and then if you ever stop taking it, then you're more fucked up than you were before you even started.
Yeah.
Like, you get dependent on this stuff. And so it's all about the money. It was all about, like, all this fear-mongering, and I just don't trust it. Like, I don't trust the mainstream media. It's a big blanket, and I could go off on that, and I definitely... Conspiracies actually exist. It's just which ones, and we should lightly question everything.
Well, yeah, and like you mentioned pharmaceuticals, and when you listen to some of the side effects, you hear these commercials, and these have been around for decades. Side effects may include, and then they go on to rattle off 20, 30 things.
Yeah.
And I think one of the problems is with the misinformation that is out there, and I don't know what's right and wrong and what's wrong and right, but what we can see is that there's been some significant inconsistencies with the reporting of these vaccines and some of the side effects from them. I mean, when the first or second round of Pfizer came out, they usually come with a little pamphlet that you can unfold, and it tells you all what's in it, what the ingredients are, what the side effects can be, a whole breakdown.
Yeah.
And any vaccine that's ever been produced has been able to provide that. And they may at this point 23 have that. I don't know, but when it first came out, we didn't know what was in it. Some say it was a saline solution. Some say the first round wasn't even really medicine. You were just basically getting a saltwater shot, a placebo effect, if you will. I've heard a lot of interesting reports on that, but then you also kind of got to look at the myocarditis situation that we have on the rise now, and some of the clot shots and some of the issues that we're seeing from the side effects of these vaccines. I think that what's concerning is that we're not having those conversations. It's not about conspiracy. It's not about who is wrong, who's trying to fuck who. It's about people are dying. Whether it is from COVID itself or from the vaccine, we need to be having these conversations, and a lot of people don't want to touch it.
Yeah, it's just. It's silly. It's so politicized and segregated and massaged. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everyone has an opinion about it.
Yeah.
But no one really wants to talk about it, like, sort of, and that's the thing that I wanted to, like, that's what kind of made me thought about this is you and I have had a lot of in-depth, long conversations. Because at first I was like, well, why don't you want to get vaxxed, Kev? And I just talked to you like a normal person that wasn't judging you for your decisions. I'm trying to figure out what's your motivation behind it. And rationally, it all makes sense to me.
Right.
So it's like until you've had these kind of conversations and actually try to like talk to people and open up your mind to the other side a little bit. Because whenever you're leaning too far in one direction, then you're likely to tip over. Right? Like you could fall easy. Like we need an equilibrium. We need a balance. And I feel like that is also within our thought processes and self-beliefs. And how much are we watching confirming type of media like that confirms self-belief? Or do you actually try to watch stuff that may challenge how you think? Or when's the last time that you actually like try to challenge yourself and be like, well, why do I think this way about that? And like really try to. So I just don't feel like people are doing that really.
No, I think that there's a big issue there, and mainstream media has a lot to do with it. We talked about this on Happy Friday, I think it was 2 weeks ago, about the way that mainstream media decides what they're going to cover versus what they're not, right?
Yeah.
And so that leads me to East Palestine, Ohio. These guys are hurting out there, man. They had a major train derailment, which led to a massive chemical spill. I'm sure everyone's heard by now. They didn't really have a choice but to pick this story up at this point because it's gotten too much attention. But you got to ask yourself, why was that not a front and center news story?
Well, I can tell you why.
I mean, we have an idea why, of course.
Well, it's because the railroad and all these chemical companies are up there like the pharmaceutical companies. They're big business. They're big money. And why does anything ever happen? Because of fucking money.
Money.
It's the same shit, bro.
It is.
Like, that's why, is because they're trying to protect their own fucking interests.
Well, but yes, I think that has a lot to do with it. But I think diving a little bit deeper than that, too, there were some journalists on the ground when that first happened.
Getting arrested, getting thrown out of their, like, they were trying to make it, like, super top secret, right? And all this, you guys probably sitting here thinking I have a tinfoil hat on. You can research all of this. I mean, the videos are out there. You can see the shit going on. And it's concerning. It's concerning. I mean, like I said, MSM didn't have a choice but to pick it up because it got too much attention. Too many people were talking about it. And, former President Trump was there earlier this week offering some resources to them, which is more than our own fucking government's doing. Not my favorite president, but I respect that move.
Sure. Was it a political stunt? Yes, yeah. 100%.
Still respect it.
He still did more for that town than our own government has to this point, but that's forcing Biden administration's hand to have to do something with this. So we always say we don't talk politics on the show.
With guests. I mean, we're sitting here. Yeah, so we can let it loose a little bit. Look, this is a 4-year celebration.
It is.
We get to talk about all the things that really irk us on this one, okay?
Yeah. And
we get to belch loud on this one.
And when it comes to politics, I'm sure some people think I'm some staunch Republican. I'm not. I'm a registered libertarian, for the record. If I've never said that on the air, that's what I am. I believe in personal freedom and liberty. That's exactly what this party stands for. Less government, more freedom. That's where I stand.
I mean, I can't hate, man. I mean, all the shit that they fucking try to force feed us. How far do I want to go while we're recording right now? That's the question.
Well, we're already demonetized, so we might as well just say whatever the hell we want.
And then watch. This is going to be our most banger of an episode ever,
and it won't
that we
be
make the most.
Thanks, YouTube. You're awesome.
No, we're going to make the most money on this one.
Probably. Or
it's going to be backwards.
And we're going to piss a lot of people off, too. I mean, and that's fine. I like pissing people off.
But why?
I'm not doing it intentionally.
Why are people so easily upset?
But they just are.
They just are. So weak. Why so weak? Why you get so upset?
Yeah.
Look, I get upset too, but I get upset because people are trying to cram bullshit down my motherfucking throat, and I got people. There's snakes in the grass out there. There's snakes in the grass, okay?
They're slithering.
They're out there, man.
They're slithering.
And they be trying to bite my ankles sometimes and shit. I'm like, what the fuck did I do?
Yep.
Nothing. So, yeah, I can get a little pissed off too, man. I feel you.
Well, I mean, again, at the end of the day, we all have to do what's best for us and make our best educated decisions for ourselves and our families, right? And we rely heavily on mainstream media to educate. I don't know if educate's the right word, to relay the information that's being reported. We've had reporters on this show before that have touched on the fact that, it's not necessarily fake news, but it's almost manifested news in some regards. And that's what's crazy to me about the Palestine situation is that was a huge news story that nobody was touching because they weren't able to. It's nuts, man. And I don't know. We'll shift.
No, we'll shift it after this because there's disinformation out there. And there's all this crap that they try to...
Is it disinformation or misinformation?
It's disinformation and it's misinformation.
It's all the above.
Yeah, I don't... You know what I'm trying to say. And I absolutely can't stand it. It bothers me. And there's all this fake crap out there and all this photoshopping and like...
Deep fakes.
Dude, yeah, it's like, why are people afraid to just be who they are? Like, why are people so fake nowadays? And it's like, why can't we just deal with our inner demons, because we all have them, right?
Yeah.
And stop, like, trying to be other people. Like, be unapologetically ourselves and just let it be. Like, if you're fat and like this and that and you want to lose weight, well, do it the right way, the long, cold, hard road way where it takes a year. It takes a year and a half. Like, getting this liposuction shit, like... Where did your discipline come? Like, did it even exist? Like, and I'm just using that as one example.
It's a good example.
One example, but it's like your mentality hasn't even changed. And then you're going to go through all this surgery and all this pain, and that's a quick fix. There is no fucking quick fix in life. And the media is trying to quick fix my mind into being afraid and reacting to all this shit. And I can't fucking stand for it.
No, I agree with you.
Okay, so I had to at least get that out there, man.
It's a good point, though. It is. I mean, the instant gratification piece has become a huge problem in the last 2 decades. I mean, we definitely saw it a little bit when the internet started becoming available in pretty much every household, because then it just added another spiderweb layer of information coming in, information going out, people having opinions, people interacting, emails, you name it. I think that's really where things started to go a little sideways because. Prior to that, you think about our folks' time, you had the newspaper that would come every day. That was your main source of news. And you'd have the 5 o'clock news. There wasn't 24 hours of news.
But even that was probably still...
propagandized.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it still had like its meaning, but it just wasn't in your face as often is what you're kind of saying.
Right. It's 24/7 now. Back then, they would get small hits of it.
Yeah.
Like, here's the news. Oh, well, they said on the 5 o'clock news. Has to be true. Has to be true.
Mm-hmm.
But... and then that's when the whole fact-checking thing comes in and it's peer-reviewed, and there's just so many loopholes to that, and I've touched on that. I've commented on that a few times. But if we haven't pissed anybody off by now, I'm going to do it right now.
Oh, great.
And
great.
Because we're talking politics and all this shit. I'm a huge gun guy, of course, and I support the Second Amendment.
Oh, I knew. He wanted to make the boom go bang.
Look, I understand that there's a mental health problem in this country, and that we've talked about gun control, we've talked about gun laws, we've talked about a lot of things on the show. We had a constitutional lawyer on here a few weeks ago, Corey Cicchetti. I asked him,
he was awesome.
His take on is that constitutional. He didn't really have an answer. So the GOP rolled out a bill to make the AR-15 the official rifle of America. I don't really think it's going to pass. I don't. Even with overwhelming Republican support, I don't think it's going to pass. But I like the move, and here's why. People are probably screaming at me, "Oh, it's Kev, it's an assault rifle. You're the military, you kill you. There's no place. It should be on the battlefield. You shouldn't own one." Well, I do own one, and I've had one for 3 years, and it hasn't killed anyone yet. You know why? Because it's only an assault rifle if I assault someone with it.
No, but assault, it doesn't stand for assault rifle.
No, exactly.
So
it could be an assault pistol. It could be an assault revolver. Right, that term is complete nonsense. In 1957,
it's a media term for this shit.
And I hear these idiots going on mainstream media calling it an automatic rifle, assault rifle. Guys, for the umpteenth time,
Armor Light.
In 1957, Armor Light designed this rifle. It was Model 15. Armalite Model 15 started in 1957. Okay, that's the facts. Period. You can call it whatever the hell you want. For the people that don't know, this is not an automatic rifle. It isn't. Can it be modified to one? Yes, but guess what? That's illegal. That is not a civilian-owned firearm. That is a Class 3 weapons permit, as Al Henkelman can attest to.
And he let me let that off, and you'd be surprised how quick fucking 40 bullets go out of that thing. And it's expensive. You're just like, woo, that was an expense. That was like a $40 gone in 30 seconds.
That's another good point. Yeah.
It's extremely expensive.
It's an expensive sport, and that's what it is. It's a sport rifle.
And while we're on the gun subject, and my opinion has not changed, and I'm just gonna state what I think about all this again. Look, I'm a gun owner. I have firearms. And I do believe that they have their place in society, and only under responsible guidance, and you have to respect the firearm, and you have to treat it with respect at all times. Always consider it loaded. Like, there's rules, and the thing is that it is extremely easy to get a firearm. Like, you just do a quick background check, you could be walking out in 30 minutes. So my whole thing with it that I would propose, if like it has to come down to it, is make purchasing a firearm like getting a driver's license. You have to do a written test. You have to demonstrate in front of a professional that you know how to properly handle this firearm. And look, if there's that one person out there that is trying to make bad decisions and thinking about purchasing to hurt innocent people, maybe that time process would take long enough to where it might prevent them, and they might start thinking differently about the situation because they can't just go get it immediately. So that's how I feel about it. I don't want to take away guns. I don't want to do anything like that, but I do believe that they should be a little bit harder to get your hands on. But you should still have access to all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from, but here's where I think the problem would lie with that is law-abiding citizens like ourselves that just want to purchase our firearms. We do everything right. I have my concealed carry. I went through the Douglas County, did everything right. Everything's good. I have no problem checking the boxes and doing the things I need to do. My concern with this proposal and some of the making it difficult to get weapons is it's going to accelerate the black market. And it's going to give those guys so much ammunition because they're going to be like, no pun intended, to dominate the black market, right? Because no matter what, let's say that this administration does pass a AR-15 ban, which would be absolutely ridiculous and stupid, and it's going to solve nothing. What that does, if I'm a black market salesman, they're excited for that. If you're a black market salesman, you want this gun law to pass. You want these rifles to be limited and not legally sold in the United States, because now you're going to dominate the profits, right?
It's true.
Most of the gang. Let's talk about gang violence, because that's something that the media doesn't like to touch on. They really just want to focus on these quote unquote mass shootings.
It's all handguns.
You look at Chicago, Illinois, which has some of the highest handgun violence per gangs in the country. Hands down. The facts are there. I mean, 30, 40 people killed weekly from gang violence. Why is that not a topic that we talk about so much? Why are we always targeting, the middle American, good old boy, if you will? These guys are the ones that are getting their gun rights taken away, so to speak, or threatened. At least here in Colorado, this is a pretty progressive state when it comes to some gun legislation. We'll see what happens, but that's my concern with it, is why are we not talking about handgun violence by gang members, right? That doesn't seem to be a big topic of concern. A firearm is a firearm. It throws projectiles faster than anything you can imagine, right? Whether it's a pistol, I understand. Look, a .223 and a .556 round goes over 3,000 feet a second, especially a .556 because it's packed with so much powder. And your typical 9mm goes about 1,200 feet a second. The fact remains, these are projectile launching at a very high rate of speed. It's going to penetrate whatever you shoot it at.
Yeah.
So restricting an AR-15 is not going to change anything. I'm sorry, guys. It just isn't. It isn't. And there's already too many of them out there. There's too many of them in the marketplace. There's too many of them that have been manufactured. Where are those going to go? They're still circulating around.
Yeah, I mean, here's the dilemma that we can't fix, is the fact that this is a crazy planet that we live on. And we are existing in a blimp of time in the human scale. And especially on the, there's so many scales on this planet. Like, our lifetime is a blink of an eye. It's so quick, and it just goes by, and there's all this infrastructure that already exists when we're born. There's all these laws and politics that already existed when we were born. And we are just playing, we got to play ball. We're in the game. whether or not we want to be or not. And there ain't no fucking bench to sit on. So it's time to buckle up, buttercup, and fucking just get hard. And like, if something's upsetting you all the fucking time, then that's weak. Like, just handle your shit. Just handle your shit. Be resilient. Be you, and like, be it in a way that is like undeniable. Like, if someone upsets you so much all the time, and look, I understand if you're part of a family and you like people were lost, you might be a little bit more passionate about this gun law subject. Like, I understand that.
Yeah, and I hear that.
It's tricky. It's a bit dicey out there.
It's dicey.
And that's why I own a firearm, because there's fucking crazies out there with guns. Why shouldn't some good, responsible people be walking around with the same shit, right? Like, there's corruption on all levels. Government to civilian to military, all of it. There's corruption everywhere. So why shouldn't I be armed?
Yeah,
if they're all armed. Like, fuck that.
No, for sure. Again, it's our Second Amendment right. And, I get it. Everyone's, well, Kev, in, 1776, we didn't have AR-15s and that style of rifle. Great. Everything evolves over time. The fact remains, it's still a firearm. It's still, like I just mentioned it throws projectiles downrange. It's a sport. I use mine as a sport. People ask me, well, can you shoot a deer with it? You can't kill a deer with it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Is it ideal? No, because you actually want a thicker round called like a Remington 7mm or a 30-06. Those are your typical hunting rifles. But yes, you can kill a deer with a 5.56 .223 round. There's no question about it. It shoots 3,000 feet a second. Of course you can.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's kiss it, baby. Keep it super simple. Or like I like to say, keep it simple, stupid. Because you have to dumb it down, man. And usually the right answer is the simplest one. And it can get overcomplicated. But here's the thing, is it's been 4 years since we picked up these microphones, since we started recording Discussion Combustion together. And so it's only fitting that on this episode we open up about some of our opinions a little bit. Like, people can get to know us through this. We're vulnerable on here. Like we put ourselves out there for anyone to judge us. And like, go right ahead and like, that's fine. I'm going to take the high road 100% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 4 years. All the opinions that we've already expressed have been covered throughout the episodes in the past 4 years in some way, shape, form, or fashion. It just has. And I care and love about everybody, okay? And everyone's opinion does matter. Everyone has one. Everyone can vote. Everyone can get involved. I just think that we need to be having these conversations without people getting upset and slamming doors and throwing their can across the room, whatever the case may be, because some of these conversations can be sensitive and people get really upset, and they start making assumptions.
No, I do agree with that, man. I do agree with that. And it's just, look, time is precious. Right? So the more time that we can spend focusing on things that make us happy on a day-to-day life, I feel like that is where everyone can have success. Because it's so easy to be upset and to complain. And I know I've said this a bunch of times, but complaining is the easiest thing to do. It's free. You're not putting any effort into anything. You're not trying to make a change. You're just literally complaining. I don't spend too much time complaining. I'm an action type of guy. I'm gonna get it done type of guy. I'm gonna own it type of guy, and I'm gonna own it too. Like, if people disagree with how I feel, like, I'll still have respect for people until they're being disrespectful for me. And there's no like point to anything I'm really saying right now. It's more just food for thought, and this experience that we're all fortunate to even have. Like, we're born the top species on this planet, and who knows if there's even life, intellectual life anywhere else. Like, I would like to think there is, but like, we're fortunate to even just be human. You know what I'm saying? So even though it's ugly out there, even though it's shitty, like, we can still focus on the good, and there is good around us. Even in the worst places, there's still good around.
Yeah, you can always find a silver lining in any situation, of course. And I think that's what we've lost touch with a lot in the last few years is everything has become it's so divided. And we've always been a pretty divided, I wouldn't even say nation. I mean, a divided world. Yeah. What team you on, all that kind of stuff. And, I think that's what's great about what we do with, with podcasting and having interactions with people. It's important. It's important to sit down and hear what people have to say. Whether they're right or wrong, whether you agree with it or not, the information should not be silenced. Somebody's opinion is someone's opinion, whether you agree with it or not. No matter how grotesque it is, whatever it is, right? Everybody has an equal voice, in my opinion. I don't think we should be silencing anything.
And that's exactly what this podcast is about. And it's exciting. Look, 4 years ago we started this, and here we are now. And we had naysayers along the way, and we've had things to overcome. But we want to create a safe space where anyone can come and talk and use this platform to tell the world about things that are important to them. And it's important to have a space like this, even if our shit gets throttled, even if we have all this other, because we don't fit the mainstream media. But look, you can have an opportunity to sit right in this seat right here and talk with Kevin and Arthur, man. And we're here, we're coming in every single week. Like we're not taking weeks off. And you can sit in this chair and hang out with us, have a couple beers, disagree with us, and still be respected at the same time. And that's what this program is all about. That's what this whole channel is about. And it's an honor to have been part of this and continue to be a co-creator with you and co-host with you, man, because this has been such an eye-opening journey. And to be able to have the opportunity to have people come sit across the table from us and talk about whatever they want. And it is a safe space for that. So everyone has their own opinion. I just don't think you could disagree with opinions, but to get overly upset about other people having different opinions, it's a waste of energy. Like, so let's tighten up.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to kind of wrap all that up, right? It's important to have conversations, I think, number one. With the parameters of those conversations shouldn't necessarily be limited to, well, we can't, we ask every guest, of course, when you come in, what is something you don't want to talk about, of course. Because, there's personal situations, there's litigation, there's just opinions that some people just don't want to go out there, and that's fine. We can totally respect that. But, it's important to have conversations because we have lost touch with that as a society as a whole. I mean, sure, we have, some people say we're more connected than we've ever been with video chatting and with Instagram stories and texting and all this stuff.
No.
I don't really feel like we are more connected that way. Is it a great tool and a resource?
It's a false connection because nothing is like reading your body language. You're like listening to me talk, like seeing each other's eyes, hearing the voice inflection, like all of that shit is real communication. And even video calls, you don't quite get all of it.
That's true. Because to your point, it's hard to read those. For one, there's a delay, right? You're not getting that instant read on somebody. So, I encourage everyone to sit down. It doesn't have to be at a table per se, at a bar, at a sporting event, at whatever you're into, and just hang out, and talk to people. It's great. I know, some people are extroverts. Or introverts. We're extroverts, so to speak. And maybe it's not everyone's cup of tea to go out and chat with everybody, but I think one of the downsides to the pandemic was people getting a little bit too comfortable, not getting out of the house, not having conversations with people, and just being a little scared, being scared to take some risks that maybe they would have taken previously.
Fucking one of my favorite quotes from 2022: "Get comfortable being uncomfortable." Like, Oh, like when you start living that one, like when you actually start living that, fucking buck up, Buttercup, because when you get comfortable being uncomfortable, you're always like, fuck, I'm okay, let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. Let's own it. And doing that though has changed everything.
Yeah.
You want to die happy? Do you want to die feeling fulfilled? Well, then fucking challenge yourself. This has been a challenge. This project has been a challenge. It's tested us financially. We've both broken up with girlfriends over this shit. We've argued, we've had tough conversations with each other where we've gotten at each other. It's not just so much fun all the time. It's not.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because, I know, for people that tune in weekly, we certainly love and appreciate your support. You get to listen to us, an hour and a half a week, whatever. There is a lot of work that goes into this project behind the scenes. There's a lot of time. There's a lot of money, like Art said. A lot of decisions that have to be made, a lot of editing, a lot of there's just so much that goes into it. I mean, I'm not trying to sit here and say that we're, slave driving this podcast, but there's just so much more than what meets the eye, right? Because we're the hosts, the editors, the creators, the producers, the publishers. We do all of it for now. But
at least there's two of us.
Yeah,
fucking A.
A lot of work to do.
It wouldn't be, and it wouldn't be the same without two people. For all the solo podcasters out there, like I show you mad respect, especially if you've been in the game and you never quit, you stayed in it, like mad respect.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Jer, our guest coming up this Wednesday. Yeah. Which will drop Thursday this week. He's fantastic. He did the Awfully Irish podcast for a while, and he's just constantly been chasing creativity, and he's constantly getting after it with his Twitch streams, with his online gaming, and all the stuff that he does. He's fantastic. He's a perfect example of working hard pays off.
It does.
Can't wait to talk to him.
Can't wait to talk to him. I can't wait to talk to you. And we're gonna have a chance because this is Discussion Combustion. We're celebrating 4 years doing this, talking to the people, allowing a space to exist where we can actually vent as well. This is a weekly therapy session for me. We get a vent in here and have a good time with it. And again, I am so fortunate to be involved in this project. I feel so fortunate that we've been able to help people, and the listeners that we've helped and that you've reached out to us and let us know, that meant a lot to us. That meant a lot to me for sure.
Yeah.
And it's an honor to do this, and I'm going to keep showing up, man. We're going to keep showing up.
Yep. We're, cuatro años. We're 4 years into this thing, man. We got a long way to go. We were not going anywhere. We continue to build and grow and innovate and try different things. We're going to be moving to a different studio for financial reasons. The fact remains is that the challenges keep coming.
Oh, yeah.
The commitment does not change. It will never stop. You will always hear from us weekly. That part never changes. It's like Julia Gentry said a couple weeks ago on this program, I don't do it for the lovers. I don't do it for the haters. I do it because I just can't not do it.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Have to.
I've been thinking about that for weeks now because it's like, yeah, you're right. Because, you talked about some of the positive feedback we get. We get a lot of negative feedback, guys. I get a lot of hate mail, and that's fine. I encourage it. I encourage interaction. Whether you like me, hate me, I don't care. I'm just here hanging out, having some beers, having a conversation with my best friend Art, hanging out with some great guests. That's what this show is. That's what it is. That's what it's always been, and that's what it will always be.
Huge thank you to all of our supporters, to everyone who's subscribed, who follows us on Instagram, on Facebook, on all the things, listens in to us talking. Look, even if you just catch an episode a month, like, we appreciate that. Even if you just listen just a little bit, give us a shot, like, thank you. And we couldn't be here without y'all. Certainly make it more fun. Yeah, what an honor to celebrate 4 years of recording Discussion Combustion podcast.
Amazing.
And on that note, I want to cheers to you, Kev. I love you, man.
Much love. It's been a hell of a ride, man. It's crazy. It's been 4 years. I still remember episode 1, recording it in your old apartment and then walking to Chipotle after, and we were trying to figure out what the name of the show was going to be and just all the nuts and bolts that went into it. And obviously, we can't do the 4-year anniversary without mentioning Jamie Rorick.
Oh, of course.
And his involvement.
Yeah, thank you, Jamie.
He's fantastic.
Always.
He is fantastic. We just wouldn't be here without him. He doesn't like to hear that, but the fact remains he gave us the opportunity to build a studio in his place to get our content in front of you guys. It wouldn't be possible without Jamie. He's going to be producing the live event on March 11th, so come on out for a visit. You're going to want to meet him. He's fantastic. This live stuff, man, this is going to be a fun show. It's
going to be so much fun. I can't not wait to see all of y'all there. Look, you know how we like to close these things down. Everyone out there, we love you. Thank you for the support. We're going to keep bringing it in. Be good to yourselves.
You deserve it.